Today we have Crockett's images. If you've ever seen those amazing images, the ones that are just epically shot, and they just kind of encapsulate that couple, well, today we're going to dive deeper into how you can actually achieve those photos and what to do once you get them.
Welcome to Behind the Veil magazine, where love and dreams unite. Join us as we embark on a journey to bring the moments, magic, and insights from wedding experts to life. Our mission is to guide you and your relationship, helping you create the best possible life together. We're not just about the big day, we're here for every moment leading up to it. Together, we'll celebrate your unique journey and provide you with the inspiration, advice, and support you need to create unforgettable memories.
Hi everybody, here today I am with Crockett's Images, and we've actually known each other for quite a long time. We've done weddings together.
Okay.
We've had a lot of experience, a lot of chit chats, even on the side, and I'm super happy to have you on as one of our first guests on Behind the Veil magazine's podcast. Can you tell me a little bit about how did you get started in wedding photography?
Sure. I got started in wedding photography in 2011, but I've had a camera in my hand since 2008. So about 16 years now of photography. And I've discovered that weddings were my favorite event or type of photography because I love so much. And being around people who are happy and in love, it really fills my cup with so much happiness. And it makes it so much easier when you love your job. It's not a job to me. I really enjoy what I do. And weddings were they clicked with me so quick and easy. And I love the morning bustle with the mimosas and the food and the hair and makeup. I love that part. And then when we put the wedding dress on, everyone gets emotional. Mom, grandma, all the bridesmaids, they're just so excited. I love that part too. And then of course the first flip with dad, that drives me to tears usually all the time when I see a bride and her dad just fall apart. You know, that big, strong dad, he sees his precious baby and dad he always turns away and he's got this real stoic tear wipe, and I'm like, I love that. I love love so much and weddings. And of course, whenever you see the bride and groom see themselves for the first time too, that's really emotional when you can feel that spirit and everybody is just so happy for them. I love every part of the wedding. And then at the end, you get to celebrate with dancing and music and fun, crazy friends and family. So it's just really a great experience from beginning to end. And I love weddings so much. I don't even charge by time. I'm there for 12 to 14 hours and I don't even leave. I love every bit of it so much. So that's how I got started with it, was I just kind of figured out my avenue that I love the most, and I poured all of my energy into making that work for me. I love what I do so much, and taking the photographs is one thing, but then also having those memories to remember after the guests have gone home, after the cake's eaten, after the dress doesn't fit, or after the flowers have wilted. When all the stuff you've put time into is done that day. It's also my job to take all those photographs, but then also present you with a wedding album of so many of those favorite memories, so they're tangible for you. You have them in your hand to hold and to have, and really, when you flip those pages, you can really see the wedding happening all over again. It's not just a picture on Facebook. It's not just a USB drive that sits in a drawer and gets dust on it. It's a live memory. When you open up that big album, well, I'll do it for you for real. when you open up that giant big album and you turn those pages and it's like, ta-da, here's my wedding. It makes it big and exciting, and you can feel the wind again. You can remember how his perfume, her perfume smelled. You know, when you look at a photograph, it's just, when you look at a tangible photograph, it brings it to life way differently looking at it through a computer screen. It really does, I promise. And I discovered that the wedding albums and the engagement albums that I make for my clients are a tangible heirloom piece that will live on forever past the 14-hour wedding day. And that's what I love so much about what I do, is giving them those memories to last literally forever.
So what do you think kind of inspired you for weddings? I know it's you have other photos that you do and other things that you work on, but what do you think it was about weddings that that kind of started the whole process of you doing weddings?
Right. What started me what inspired me to photograph weddings was my genuine appreciation for a spiritual connection within two people. That bond, that's, sealing of two hearts together. I love love, and I really do believe in it. And when you find that one person that God made for you, that soulmate, there's just electric energy, and I like feeling that. I like being around that. It gives me hope for everyday life. And what inspires me the most to continue with my wedding photography career, is just the energy that I see, and the light and the love and the hope in everyone's eyes who I photograph. I really love being able to photograph that engaged couple and really see how much he adores her by the way he kisses her, how he holds her, how he might help her walk down the hill to the location that we're going. And then same thing for her. She'll kind of, make sure his hair's looking like she wants it to, and she'll straighten his tie. And so she takes care of him too. And I just really love being around people who love each other. And I'm sappy. I'm so sappy. So that's what really inspires me to keep doing weddings, is my love for love and seeing the light inside people. And I get to photograph that. So they can remember how they feel every time they look at those pictures.
Yeah. I mean, there really is a lot of little elements. And I imagine that, as you're going throughout the day, you tend to pick up on those things. And especially, I've noticed that those little adjustments, those little, micro adjustments, those eventually find their way in your photography. In some way, shape, or form, they those little elements tend to kind of come alive. And
Yes.
It's certainly something that I've seen, and even being around you as much as I have on the video. And there's whether that's posing, whether that's just all right, put your arm around her, just like this, and bring her in close. Those little kind of cues that we may not necessarily pick up on, you do. And I just want to say, I think it's something that's kind of remarkable about your approach in your photography.
Thank you.
With that said, with the prints kind of coming alive, are there any misconceptions that you think people may have about the albums or photos that they are actually getting?
I want to talk about 2 points there. You make a good point there. The first point is, people sometimes think that the USB drive is all that they need. They might not need anything else. They think the USB drive is all they need. But if you only have the USB drive, they stay on here, because after you get married, life happens, and you just leave them on here. This is pretty. It's pretty to sit around and then show off and think to yourself, oh, I'm going to go get these printed myself. But it just doesn't happen. Years later, I'll get phone calls. Hey, do you want to help me with my, decorating my house with my wedding photos? I'm like, yes, I do. I would love to help you with that. So they think they don't have to print them. And then years later, they're like, oh yeah, now I have a house and I can do some stuff. And then the second misconception that I want to say is, if you don't get things printed, you lose it. You do lose those memories, because every single time I get a phone call from a bride, from 5 years ago, and she's like, hey, I have a house now. I want you to help me litter my whole house with these memories. And as she goes through that USB drive that I give her, she'll say, oh my gosh, I forgot all about the mimosa stuff on the bed. I forgot about, my grandma made this casserole. My grandma's not here anymore. I forgot about all these pictures. They forget about them because they just stay on that USB drive, So when you get them printed, there's something magical and alive about printing stuff. It's very, very, very important not to just let them live on your computer, not to let them live on Facebook, not to let them live just on your phone. Have those memories printed in an album somewhere, on the wall. Even these new digital frames that they've got. I think Best Buy has some 11 by 14 like digital frames you plug the USB drive into, and it rotates. That's better than letting them stay on that USB drive. But yeah, misconceptions are people that don't think they have to get things printed, or thinking that that it won't matter. That I'll remember everything, but they don't. They come back every time, and they say, oh, I wish I would have. I forgot about all these things. I just forgot about all these great memories. And they love looking back at them all the time. So having them printed, especially with these like 90-page albums that I've got, 90 or 80-page albums, a lot of memories are in those books. And it's a great way to preserve those memories forever.
Absolutely. There is something tangible. In the same way, I know you mentioned heirloom. And, now I don't know what's happened over the past, several generations, but the whole concept of that heirloom has just, in some ways, it's just kind of trickled out of normal conversation. And in the past, we would have families, you'd have the family crest, you'd have things that would be passed down. You would have, items,
right.
As strange as it is, people used to have heirlooms that were woven from hair. And as strange as gross that actually is, it was at least something that kind of connected that family and was something that you could actually pass on. And so I think having something tangible, having something that you can actually pick up is so much different than how we even operate on a day-to-day basis. We all have our phone, with us. And in some ways, I think maybe we take that for granted, but having something physical definitely has a lot of advantages that just being able to have it just on the thumb drive and say, I have it, that may be stored, but it may not actually be captured. And there's kind of a difference there, I think.
These are the USB drives are definitely great to have access to print, your family photos if you want to. It's good access if you wanted to do, printing little things and having all of them, but to actually remember everything that you did, it's good. You almost have to have a print of it or an album somewhere.
So Crockette, I have another question for you, because I know you've got your wedding prints, but is there any part of having something physically printed, whether that's an album or maybe a print on your wall, that can actually impact your relationship?
Oh, yeah. There's been several times when I'm designing the wedding album that I will, a lot of times during the wedding day, the couples will actually write their own vows to each other, or they will write love notes to each other and exchange them before the ceremony starts, so they have a private moment to kind of be intimate with themselves or whatever. And there's been several instances where I will always take a photograph of the note. I do that for her, I do that for him, and I have a photograph of the note. And then sometimes days after the wedding's over or the night of the wedding, they'll say, oh my gosh, Crockette, do you still have that photograph of my love note? Yes, I do. I'm gonna put that in your wedding album. She's like, great, because I lost it. I lost my husband's love note. So I'm like, well, I have a photograph of it, so that's good. So now, whenever they go when I put their wedding album together, I've got their love notes like in the book, so they can go back and read their love. This is a small clip of what they wrote. This is not very big, of course, but some people fill up the entire page with a love note, and it's in there that way. So I do save the day, I guess, whenever I photograph their love notes, and I put the love notes in the album so they have them forever that way. You know, this might pull some heartstrings for people. These folks here are all very much still with us, you know, but sometimes whenever you have, you know, you're really close to your dad, and that first look is just so important. The bridesmaids are just so precious, you know, but so sometimes, you know, parents don't stay with us forever. Grandparents don't stay with us forever. Sometimes, unfortunately, bridesmaids, best friends, they don't stay with us forever. But I'm getting choked up talking about this. But looking back at those memories, those printed memories, when they're just in your face like that, and alive, bigger than your phone screen, you know, the pictures are as big as your face. You can really remember, like, the way your dad felt when he hugs you. You can remember your bridal party is like, ah! Like screaming excitement, you know, or, you know, you can always remember your grandma's voice, even whenever you look at a photograph. So as far as enhancing relationships, oh my gosh, it just really does allow you to never lose those feelings whenever you've got those tangible pieces. It's very important to have tangible stuff.
Yeah, and especially over the years, you know, even past the wedding day, you know, it's not just that day, but it's also, you know, what are we building together, and how we add photos over the years. Maybe you get kids, maybe you get children, you know, adding onto that, all those little elements, you know. I think that gets into the much bigger picture of, you know, what kind of home are you creating, and what kind of memories do you have on the wall, and what do all those mean to you?
There's a lot of things that go on during the wedding day. And, you know, I also help plan my couple's weddings, like a very detailed wedding plan too. And the way that I plan my weddings is designed specifically so they can enjoy leisurely their whole day. There's no stress, no hurry up about it. You know, there's no like, oh, we got to hurry up and do this so we can move on. Hurry up and move on is not a thing I even practice saying on a wedding day. Are you hungry? I say that a lot too. Let me feed you. But a leisurely wedding day plan allows my bride and my groom to fully enjoy that breakfast casserole grandma made, to fully enjoy putting on that dress with your mother and all the bridesmaids, to fully enjoy playing pool, playing poker, you know, drinking some morning shots of orange juice in the morning or whatever with the groomsmen, and to never rush those moments, because there's a lot more to it than just snapping a photograph. I'm a documenter for them. I document the feelings and the emotions so they can have all of that forever. On the wedding day, it's sometimes stressful for people. They want stuff to go right. They want the cake to be as pretty as they imagined. They want the flowers to be as beautiful as they imagined. You know, they want the dress to fit just perfectly like they imagined and wow their groom. They're going to wow their groom because their groom loves them anyway. But the girls have all these expectations, and with a carefully thought about wedding day plan that I provide, it does let them leisurely enjoy instead of the wedding day's done, you know. And a lot of times, a lot of my brides will actually tell me, I don't even remember doing these things. I was just so focused on having things go the right way. I don't even remember these events. I'm so glad you were here to document and capture the day for me. And I'm like, well, yeah, girl, that's my job. I'm here for that, not just the fun hubba bubba, you know. Yes, the decorations get photographed. Yes, the details get photographed. Yes, the ceremony, dancing, all the normal stuff gets photographed. But the emotions of people as you walk down the aisle, you don't think about that. I do. The emotions of your bridesmaids when they turn around, I take care of that. The emotions of people, the emotions of the events, that's something that I can definitely capture with my camera. And having a quick trigger finger works really well for that. And a love for people and a deep love for the connection and the emotions people have with wedding days. I have a deep love for that. And it just comes so naturally to me to think, oh, this might be a very heated emotional moment. I need to be angled this direction to capture dad, because she's fixing to just make him water faucet, and I can feed off of people's energy too. I can be fast and get stuff over with, or I can really be there for them to capture the emotion of every minute of the day. So whenever they look back at their pictures, they're like, I remember how I felt in that moment.
Now, with that, the message of, how I felt in the moment, are there any, aspects of kind of capturing an individual style, or kind of personality, any elements of that? And I think we mentioned earlier, there's a kind of a tangibility factor of that.
Yes.
How does that show up in, your approach to couples?
Great question. So every couple has a slightly different vibe. Sometimes they're, I'll say touchy-feely for lack of better words. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're very shy. Sometimes they're just outwardly affectionate. And so each couple has their own vibe and energy. And every wedding collection I have comes with an engagement session. And those engagement sessions are great for several different reasons. It allows me to get to know my couple. It allows me to get to know how comfortable they are with certain aspects of the relationship. Like as far as, I love the kissy ones. I love the candid shots. Or I just really want the looking at the camera, straight at the camera posed ones. Because maybe they're more shy. So then, if my couple is more of a shy couple and they prefer more the straight look at the camera pictures, they might ask for some candid stuff, but the ones they take home for their engagement session, this is one of my engagement books here. So I do have engagement albums also, but this is a pretty lovey-dovey romantic one. This is more fun and cutesy, but if a couple is more shy and they prefer just to look at the camera and say cheese kind of photos like that, I know to get the candid shots on the wedding day, but it teaches me to make sure that I darn sure get the traditional look at the camera and say cheese for the wedding day, because that's what they're going to want to put on their wall. They're not going to want to put, come here, baby, like on their wall, But so the engagement session teaches me about the couple, and it also allows me to then provide them with perfectly suited style pictures for their wedding day, because I took the time to get to know them during the photo session and what they like, what they choose to pick out to purchase for their walls, what they choose to take home. So the engagement session that it comes with the wedding collections teaches me how to photograph them best. It also gives me the opportunity to teach them all of my posing secrets. So then that way they're pros on the wedding day. And then magically, when we spend time together during the engagement session, when they see the pictures, they just love them. They love them so much. And then on the wedding day, I built that trust with them. So whenever I tell them or remind them, hey, remember what we do with our neck? We're going to stick it out, lean it forward, and just say cheese that way. Whenever I remind them, hey, do the turtle dove thing, they know immediately what I'm talking about. Or when I tell the guy to do the cool Kevin Costner leg pose, he remembers what it is, because we had that really weird, funny moment during the engagement session where I was teaching them some posing things, and you make sure your expensive hand is facing the camera, and all the different things I do. But so engagement session is great because it teaches me their true vibe, which allows me to provide them with perfectly styled photos from the wedding day for them. And it's also great for them for two reasons too. Now we're friends. They're more comfortable the wedding day. The poses are more loose and relaxed and natural because we've already gone through the 15 minutes of uncomfortable engagement pictures, and now we're good friends. Not that the session lasts 15 minutes, but the first 15 minutes of every engagement session is always like this, but then after the 2 hours or so of engagement pictures, they're loving it. They're so loose and happy. But the second thing that engagement photographs do is they allow you to also get dressed up a second time, and it's just about you guys together. And also, you can decorate with these at your bridal shower, your guest book table. You can use the pictures from your engagement session to put in your invitations. Of course, decorate your home with them too. But and sometimes, like this couple right here, we went to a really, really epic location for their engagement photographs, and we got to travel to a really cool spot for their engagement pictures, and their photographs were so cool and so neat. Sometimes your engagement photographs can actually be more epic than your wedding photos. So if the engagement photographs match the vibe of your life more, these hang up really well in your home versus like you might want to have a giant canvas of this beautiful guy instead of a church picture with pews. Not that there's anything wrong with church. I love church, love the Lord, highly recommend getting married in a church, but sometimes that big waterfall thing, it's more who you are in the inside, and the engagement photographs match your decorations, they match your soul a little bit better. So having an engagement session lets me provide them with more pictures that match their soul, and then we're more comfortable and the pictures are better for the wedding day. But you can also take those engagement photographs and decorate with them maybe a little bit more than the wedding.
Well, I think you bring up some really great points in that, maybe a couple has thought that, hey, I want to get wedding photos, I want to get my engagement photos. Maybe different. But what I hear you saying is we need to capture the relationship photos.
I have done many, many Catholic weddings in the past, and it's very sanctimonious and very, very amazing. You can really feel the spirit inside that beautiful Catholic church. I love my powerful Catholic church weddings. Love those. Sometimes they do last a little long. And sometimes the couple is ready to get out of there. That is a very common thing. But the seriousness of the vows being exchanged and the holy words being echoed in that beautiful church with the Lord surrounding you really puts a very comforting, heavy blanket of sealment on the couple and the families. I love a serious Catholic wedding. Love that. When the Holy Lord is there, you can feel it, And then, in addition, the backyard weddings are just as precious, though. Because you know what? They're getting married underneath the willow tree that great-grandpa planted when his bride and him got married. How cool is that? This is great-grandpa's willow, and we're getting married underneath the willow tree that they planted when they got married. So that's just another heavy blanket of true love that can last forever. I get the best people. I swear, I just get blessed with the best couples. And then there's some beautiful venues around the area too. We've got the Knoll Crest, we've got Rusted Rat, we have Water's Edge and Sweet Pecan. There's several of them around here. Those are just ones that came to mind. But the couple, wherever they get married, by a creek, underneath Grandpa's willow, whether their brother marries them or the childhood preacher from a different church marries them, the couple can also emit this very loving, powerful energy that can fill any field, it can fill any room, it can fill any pondside, lakeside area. The couple is the one that really dictates the vibe of the day. I pray every time I go to a wedding, before a wedding, during a wedding, all the time, and I always pray Lord, please put me in the right place for them so I can capture them perfectly wherever they're at. Please let me feel what they want, what they need. And I promise he talks to me all the time, and he really puts me in the right place all the time. And I really do feel like I can connect with my couples anywhere. But I ask for it, ask and you shall receive. And I do. He gives me He gives me a lot of guidance during the wedding day, to be what my couples need me to be, and to be where they need me to be at the right time. Yeah. So to answer that question, I hope I answered that question. But the place is great, but the couple is the one that really emits the loving, powerful energy when they seal their hearts together.
You kind of seem to have a vision of, okay, now that I've taken these photos, and even before you take the photos, it's, where are they going to go? How is this going to, show up for the couple? Maybe that's on a canvas. Maybe it's in a book or an album. What are some of the creative ways that you've been able to kind of help couples with their wedding memories and displaying those? Any creative things that have kind of come up like over the years that, I've never had a couple asking me for this. What can I come up with? Any interesting stories that have developed from that?
There's a couple actually. The most common one is, I don't know how big to print my photos. I don't know where to hang my pictures. A very common one is, I'm still in my apartment. We can't put holes in the walls, so I'm going to wait till I get my big kid house. And that's when I get phone calls later on with the wedding USB, like, hey, let's do this now. I don't charge for that, by the way. I just want you to fix me some supper, and I'll come over and help you with all that. But anyway, drink some spaghetti. Sounds good. I'll come right over. Sorry, that was a funny side note, but that's true. Feed me and I'll do pretty much whatever you want with photos. But anyway, so when couples want me to help decorate their house, I have a very awesome program in my studio room where if you text me a picture of any wall you want me to help you decorate, I can virtually show you your favorite wedding photographs sized appropriately on that wall virtually. So if you have a big, mountain photograph and you want it to go above the dining room table, a little bitty 8x10 is not going to cut it, sister. It's not going to cut it. Honestly, if you put stuff on a wall, 16x20 is the smallest you need to go, truly. 8x10s are great additions. 5x7s are great for desks, things like that. But anything smaller, 8x10, 5x7, 11x14, those are great tabletop options, great desk, nightstand, coffee table where you brush your teeth in the morning, like right there, close. If you're going to put it on the wall, you need to visualize walking in that foyer, walking in your double door folded into the dining room, and in the picture that picture on the wall way over there, So 16x20 is the smallest wall print you really need to go with. And I'm a big fan of big pictures because there's a lot of detail and stuff. I want to see my man's laugh lines while he's laughing at me. I want to see those dimples he's got, and I want to see his muscles as he's grabbing me tight. You can't see that with a little bitty 8x10. Throw that idea out. Throw out the 8x10s. Great for end tables, great for like grandma people, but get you like a big 20x40 landscape or something, or even a 30x50. Those are fantastic giant landscape shots, especially if you have a big mountain range in the background with your veil flowing, just like this. Love these pictures. Where did it go? Yeah, so these were fun. This was a really fun adventure here to the mountains. That was great, very fun. But we also went up there and threw her dress around. Those are pretty neat pictures of the mountains there. But if you've got some really big epic shots, I can help you virtually show you your own wall with different size options, no matter where you want to hang it. So for sure, a 12x24 is so small. You need to go with like the 20x40 or the 30x50 or something fun like that. And then also, I do provide all the prints for my clients. I provide canvases and hanging floating canvases. I have canvases with a frame on there, very finished, polished look. And then, of course, you got regular mounted pictures. I have a nice velvet coating on my mounted pictures. And the velvet coating, this one here, you can see the glare on it. You can see the glare right there. The velvet coating allows you to look at this photograph anywhere without without the glare. This is just a regular album. The albums don't come with velvet coating, unfortunately, but sometimes in your big kid home, you'll have a wall of windows maybe, and that west or east sun will reflect off of the floor and hit your picture, and usually it's behind glass, and that's fine. People are just used to glares, like this is kind of annoying, but I do have velvet toppers or whatever, velvet coating that goes on top of my mounted pictures, and if you don't put it behind glass, there will not be a glare no matter how you look at that piece. It'll be just like a canvas with no glares on it. So I love that option for my prints. But yeah, so I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I did have another tag on to that, and that's something that we talked about earlier, which is crop sizes.
This is Whitney and Brian at Knollcrest. Beautiful picture. It's very long and skinny. Can you see that right there? So this right here, this one page is a square. You can't crop this picture into a square, otherwise you'd lose the whole left and right side of the photo. So with a lot of folks think that a 4x6 crop is the same as an 8x10, just a bigger print. And some folks think that the 16x20 is the same crop as actually that kind of is, 1624 or 20x30. There's a different crop ratio, and I might be getting too detailed about it, but some prints, like I just showed you, are long and skinny. You can't make that a square. You can't make that an 8x10. There is a crop ratio, not just a crop size. So maybe in your mind, think ratio. The long skinny one has a 1:2 ratio, which means it is twice as long as it is tall. It's a 1 foot by 2 foot, or a 10x20. It's twice as long as it is tall. That's a ratio. Your 8x10 ratio is also a 4:5. It's also a 20:24, same ratio. 16:20, same ratio. Bigger pictures, yes, size does help too, but your 16:24, of course, is 4 inches taller than a 16:20, but you're also losing 4 inches, making the same ratio as the 8x10 or 8 or 4x5 or whatever. That might be too much, but the good news is when you come let me help you design your walls, you don't have to think about any of that. That's what I specialize in. That's what I do. I can help you with all that. You say, I want to go bigger. I want a bigger print. That's all you have to say. That's all you have to say is, I want to go bigger. Or scale down or whatever, but I will help you with the ratios, the sizes, options I have for you. So really, when we get together to design your home, all you have to come with is the favorite pictures you want me to help you decorate with, and the wall, that helps too. But I take all of that confusing crap I started to talk about earlier with ratios and crap like that. You don't have to worry about that because I do that for you. I will make sure that where's a good dress picture at? A big, long, tall dress picture. Oh, it's underneath my camera. But anyway, I've got a really tall dress photograph that extends on both pages of the album. And if you didn't print that off properly, the beautiful dress would get cut off. And that's not a good print. So basically, I'll help you with all of that. Just let me know your favorite pictures and your walls you want to decorate, and I will do all of the trouble with ratios for us.
Yeah, and there's definitely a balance. And, especially, a lot of folks may want to say, hey, gee, I've got the photos. I'm going to go print them off, or, years later, or, however that may work out. And then they're like, well, it's there. but there's actually a balance to it. And, not just pleasing to your eyes, but also, where is it going to show up? Where on your wall? If you have a fireplace and you want to have something on both sides,
right,
that's going to take a different balance. And, those are all things that, for your everyday, couple, you may not even know where to begin with that. So that's great that's something that you can say, hey, let me take care of that. let me help you show your images so that they look the best,
Right, exactly.
wherever that may be on whatever material. That may be something as well. The materials. Can you speak on any of that? I know you got canvas. You've got the digital prints. What are some of the options that kind of exist for couples? Providing that once they have their
Sure.
prints.
I can provide, I think we hinted at this a little earlier too. If you want it printed, I can print it for you. There are cool companies out there that have like mouse pads and socks and t-shirts and cups and, blankets and stuff like that. That's what the USB drive is good for, is taking this and going to like the fun, crazy places for stuff like that. But I mostly want to provide you with professional printed art, such as the canvas, your hanging canvas, your framed canvas, mounted pictures, and framed art also. So that's what I kind of stuff. And the albums, of course, we've already talked about those. Engagement albums, wedding albums, all the things. That's what I specialize in. And the USB drive is great for printing off the fun stuff. Mpix.com is a nice place with great color quality, color calibration, product quality. When I say color calibration, people might not know what that is. It's very important. Color calibration is very important. So your purples aren't blue. Your reds are not orange. Your blacks are not gray. And your grays are not white. Color calibration is the system that the print lab uses to make sure the colors are perfect. Because there is a hue of green that has a 16-digit number with it, and that's the color of the groom's eyeballs. They're not blue, they're not hazel, they're this color green, or whatever. And you print off this beautiful canvas at a cheap, unprofessional print lab, and your groom's eyeballs are the wrong color. Not okay. Maybe you don't care, but I do. Or your groom's gray tux has a tinge of blue to it. And you're like, no, my groom's tux is gray. Because you went to a cheap print lab, okay? That's why. Don't go. If you want me to tell you places not to go, I don't want to bash, print companies on here. But I can say that mpix.com is a professional print lab, user-friendly for all kind of people. It's not what I use to print my photos. I have another professional print company that's great. But Mpix for normal, everyday people has wonderful color calibration. Your gray suit will be gray. Your red hair will not be purple. Girls, I know, you know what I mean. And your black hair won't be blue. You know how sometimes colors do that same thing with bad color labs. But Mpix will make sure your red lipstick is spot on, your maroon and light bubblegum pink and eucalyptus green bouquet is perfect, and the color tabletop decorations you chose are right spot on. So Mpix.com is where I would go for any digital fun photo needs. But yeah, Mpix is great for digital cool stuff. Mouse pads, magnets, socks, coffee cups, swimsuits. I've seen some swimsuits with like the groom's face all over them. It's so funny. Oh my gosh, my brides are so hilarious.
Wow.
Anyway.
Yeah, definitely conversation pieces for sure. I'm sure you're giving some of our viewers some ideas of, ooh, wow, I could make boxers.
Yeah, exactly.
And socks. And, that opens up a whole other conversation. And again, that stuff, it gets right back into that relationship and kind of the funness of it. And, is there anything else that you think that you'd like to share with some of our viewers about, capturing, and then presenting, whether that's through, albums, prints,
yes,
the whole aspect of kind of, capturing and kind of preserving, from what I've heard from you so far, this goes way above just taking pictures on your day, just capturing, taking a photo of your engagement. There's so much more, and especially the relationship side, the heirloom side. You mentioned multiple times being able to have something that's going to last forever, and that relationship, the building aspects, how this is going to help them show up in their relationship, now and then even in the future.
Sure.
What are some of those things that you think that you'd have that would be, that could kind of wrap all that up in like a pretty bow.
You got it.
Or,
I think I can wrap it up. So this point of communication, this point of knowledge keeps popping in my head here. So I must need to tell you this. On a wedding day, it's very easy to be overwhelmed. I wouldn't say I'm a control freak, but I do like to make sure all my I's are dotted and my T's are crossed. So like, to me, to have that organized wedding day plan that I provide for my brides, it allows me to visualize the entire day with when the hair and makeup people are coming, when we're going to have breakfast, who's bringing the mimosas, who's making the casserole, when the boys need to be dressed, what time the parents are arriving. So it's just a whole lot of questions answered and very organized, detailed planning. When I provide that for my brides, I've been doing that my whole career. Other people in the area are like, how do you do weddings all the time? Isn't it stressful? I'm like, no, it's not, because I provide a very detailed, organized plan for my girls and my grooms. That helps them just take all that stuff out of their mind, and it's on paper, and you don't have to think about it. It's going to mathematically make sense, and the day is going to flow. If the makeup artists arrive at 8 o'clock, we'll be done with hair and makeup by 11. We'll have some breakfast, get dressed. We'll do dad's first look. We'll exchange the love notes, behind a tree or whatever, and then we'll get married, and then we'll boogie all night long. So that's a very quick wedding plan. But I mean, whenever I provide that for my girls, it allows them to relax. It allows them to understand everything is going to be done. They can truly enjoy having their makeup done without worrying about stuff. Oh my gosh, did I text my groom's mom? Does she know to be here at 2 o'clock? Oh my gosh, the cake lady, she doesn't know where to put the cake at. Well, we've talked about that. It's going to go over there by the whatever. So the plan that I provide for my girls, I do this every weekend. I know questions to ask and things to help them prepare. And this is what this podcast is going to help too. This podcast, everyone needs to be a part of this podcast, because logging in and getting all this insider knowledge is going to educate people so much better. But anyway, back to this. When I provide that stress-free, leisurely wedding day plan for my girls, they just can de-stress. They can relax. And when you are relaxed, that vein on your head doesn't come out. I don't know if you know anybody that has that stress vein. It pulsates whenever you are stressed out. My beautiful little sister, sometimes I know when she's mad. She's a redhead too, so that might be a factor, but she's got this vein, and it comes out whenever she's hiding her anger or hiding her stress. And women are easily to get stressed, but stress photographs terribly. But it does photograph. You can see it. You can see it like right here. You can see stress right here. You can see that right there. That's stressful. You can see it right here. But whenever you have my leisurely wedding day plan that I make for you, that mimosa is going to taste so good. That morning Bloody Mary is going to taste so good. You can enjoy that homemade fruit dip and homemade apple pie moonshine that Grandpa made you for the wedding gift. You can enjoy that stuff and enjoy your day, because you don't have to worry about anything. I got you. I promise. You eliminate stress.
Yeah. And especially couples where they can just relax and they can be they can be themselves. They look natural because they are natural. And I think that's a good takeaway. Any final comments that you'd like to share with our listeners?
I think I'm good. One final tip, I guess it doesn't have nothing to do with printing stuff, but as far as booking your wedding photographer, I want to stress that the wedding industry is getting more and more busy. So if you have a designated venue in mind and a designated photographer, they book up about 1.5 years, sometimes 2 years in advance, especially if you want like April, May, June, September, October, early November. Those 6 months right there are prime wedding months, May and October being the most busy. And I'm sure you can attest to that too. So if you have a specific venue, you want Millcrest, you want Rusted Route, you want Water's Edge or Sweet Pecan, you want me as your photographer, you want Cats as a caterer, you want John Fritzler as your wedding filmmaker, sorry. You want specific people. You have to book who you want way early to get what you want. If you just want a photographer, a venue, that's a little different story. But if you have your heart set on a certain thing, I would say book wedding film, wedding photography, and wedding venue, three things, a year and a half, sometimes 2 years out to make sure you get what you want. And the wedding payments per month are a lot smaller too. Now, a Friday wedding and a Sunday wedding might be a little easier to get what you want or even a Thursday wedding or a Tuesday wedding or whatever. Weekday weddings, not so bad, but if you want a Saturday wedding, especially in May and October, I would book your venue, your photographer, and videographer right now, just very quickly, within a year and a half or 2 years out.
Awesome, Crockette. You have done a fantastic job.
I love having me. Thank you.
I really appreciate it. I think you've given our audience something that they can actually use, advice and insights into the whole process of relationship photos. And I think it's something that's really going to help a lot of people navigating through photos and through weddings and getting things planned. It's not easy. Otherwise, we'd all do it. And especially, like you mentioned, the stressful part. Nobody wants to be stressed on their wedding. And I think, your approach of being able to have people go through the process, letting them offload that onto you, to your planning, to your approach. I think that is going to be something that really provides people a breath of fresh air so that way they can be natural.
That's right. I got you guys.
And I
got you.
So, hey, I appreciate it. You've done a great job, and we'll be sure to stay in contact. I know we've got a couple weddings in the future coming up.
Thanks for joining us on today's episode of Behind the Veil magazine with Crockette's Images. If you have any questions for her, be sure to reach out. And if you're interested in potentially booking her for your next engagement photo or your wedding, be sure to reach out to her. I know she's got loads of opportunities for advice to make your photos the best they can be. For any other questions that you may have regarding today's episode, be sure to check out behindtheveilmagazine.com or check out our Facebook page for more information. As always, like and subscribe and share with others who would find this information valuable.